a business owner, you definitely want to be aware of Black Hat SEO. So what is Black Hat SEO? Well, white hat is when you hire an SEO company, and a reputable one will only do the SEO techniques that match in with Google's guidelines and search engine guidelines. So for white hat SEO, that's what you're looking for across the board. Black hat SEO is the exact opposite. It goes against a lot of the guidelines, or they're questionable techniques. So they're widely accepted by the online marketing. They're not widely accepted by the online marketing community, and they can hurt your website. So you definitely want to be aware of these types of items that we're going to go over today are on your website, or if your web team have put these on. There's also the chance that when they did do these techniques, that they were good at the time, but Google's constantly changing, so that could be a reason why they're now black hat techniques. Any questions or comments?
Well, Robin, I'm actually monitoring the question and comment sections of this Google Hangout, and I don't see any coming in yet, but it gives me an opportunity to mention to folks that you are able to ask your comments and questions on the Google Hangout if you're logged in with a Google account, so I'll be taking a look at that throughout this. But I did want to comment on something that Robin just said, and that is there are situations, and we even saw one in the last webinar, of somebody who had a black hat technique that was white hat at a time many years ago, and those types of things happen all the time. We see that from time to time, where we'll get a website from a client that's pretty old, we'll take a look at it, and we see some of the different specific black hat techniques that Robin's going to bring up in the next section here. So Robin, why don't you give us a highlight on some of those different black hat techniques that we should be watching out for?
Sure. Here's some we're going to go over today. So like cloaking, just every different kinds of spam, redirecting pages. So really just trying to mislead the consumer, or if you have some duplicate content or different kinds of code on your website, things that are really just obviously bad for your website, bad for the user experience. Things like link farms as well. So a whole bunch of different ones that mostly would be done on purpose by webmasters to get ahead and to try and rank quickly on the top page of Google, or the #1 position. But some can also be not on purpose and just bad techniques, or maybe they just are not aware of the changes in Google. And you can have huge consequences on your site. Any questions?
No questions yet from our viewers. However, I did want to comment on that as well. The one thing that you mentioned there, Robin, was the link farms, and that's something that maybe people aren't really aware of, but all these types of things that you've highlighted very briefly are usually things that are quick and easy techniques. And the really big takeaway that people should be having here is a black hat technique is usually a quick and easy shortcut to getting some short-term gain on SEO. And as Google improves their algorithm over time, they're looking at preventing those quick and easy techniques from actually working, because they're looking at providing great results to you, their customer, in the search results. There's nothing more irritating trying to search something and something that's not relevant shows up. And that's what they're constantly tweaking their algorithm 2 times a day to do, is to prevent that sort of thing from happening. So if you do come across some sort of quick and easy way to try and gain some rankings, be leery that it could be a black hat technique and it could hurt you in the long run and get your site or Google listing blacklisted. So with that, Robin, do you want to tell us a little bit about cloaking?
Oh, sure. Just to be aware of some of these consequences, though, I mean, it can drop your rankings, it can reduce your traffic. That'll be a big sign that you have a consequence from a black hat SEO technique. Maybe you're not even aware that they're on your website right now. If you haven't redone your website in a while, or if you have some viruses on your website, that could be another reason why your rankings tank. but you can fall right off the local rankings. You can get you can reduce the site's ranking, so you can go from page 1 to page 5 in just a day based on the algorithm, or you can get your whole site banned. So definitely huge consequences.
If I could jump in there, Robin, just for a moment, this morning at the Gaibo conference that we had, I worked with a gentleman whose impressions and number of people coming to their site clearly dropped off significantly sometime, I would say, 2 or 3 months ago in the insights that were in the Google My Business listing area, and it's been low consistently. So I said something happened back then that's really bad, and that could have been a penalty of some sort that has hit him in some way. So that's the sort of thing that you could look out for to know, have I been hit with a penalty or not, because they don't always come out and just tell you. You all of a sudden see a drastic drop. And usually a drastic drop in traffic means there could have been a drop in rankings, or you just disappeared, and that's how you can infer that a penalty has incurred.
Yes, and if you want to know about penalties, or if you have a penalty, we have a whole another blog on awesomedynamic.com all about recognizing your penalties and how to recover from them. Okay, so cloaking, it's when you set up 2 different versions of a website. So you have a version specifically made for search engines to rank well, and then for humans you have one so that they can see a completely different page that has less keywords, it's more naturally written, maybe there's more pictures. So the one with the cloaked page could be, you know, keyword stuffing, and you can, there's also programs, I mean, Google can easily distinguish if you're having 2 different versions of a web page. And in saying that, there are some reasons you would have, white hat reasons why you would have 2 different versions, for example, targeted advertising. But most of the time, you're going to have the exact same version for the human side and for search engines. And along with cloaking, also keyword stuffing is a black hat technique to avoid, because it's just an unnaturally writing in your website. For example, if your keyword is ice cream cones, you could say, we have the best ice cream cones. Ice cream cones are great. Ice cream cones are what we sell, and you need to buy an ice cream cone from us. Well, that's keyword stuffing, because you just put it too many times in there in an unnatural way. But it's not necessarily on the front end of your website. So if you go and check your website, you might not see it, because it might be in the back end, in your meta tags, in your picture alt tags. It could be in the comments of your blog. It could be a hidden text, so all that cloaked text. It could be somewhere in the body copy. It could be anywhere on the website. So you may not notice it by just reading the website.
So with that, Robin, taking a look at some of those different techniques, we see that all the time, especially in the keyword meta tag on pages, maybe sometimes in the meta description for pages, where someone will say, we'll use ice cream for example, ice cream parlor, ice cream cone, ice cream sandwiches, ice cream this, ice cream that, and any version of ice cream, frozen yogurt, and they just string on and on and on, anything that could possibly be related. I've even seen that happening with towns that maybe a local business wants to get listed in. So they might put Libertyville, you know, ice cream in Libertyville, ice cream in Mundelein, ice cream in Vernon Hills, ice cream in Lincolnshire, ice cream in Lake Forest, ice cream in Lake Bluff, and it goes on and on and on and on, and there is no value to Google or to humans to do that. And that is essentially what Robin's calling keyword stuffing, not just what Robin calls it, but that is what it's called. And that's something that even unnaturally putting that in the back end and some of those metadata spots is not good. Even in picture alt tags, which is listed here, that's essentially supposed to be a description of what the person is seeing in the pictures. And it was originally designed for blind people that used a screen reader that read them what was on the page, and when it got to an image, it would read the text that's in the image. Now, many website designers today will just skip that and leave it blank. That's not good. But what we do want to do is describe what's in the picture and use the keyword one time. So if the keyword is ice cream cone, we'd say picture of a child eating an ice cream cone with a happy smile on his face. And that would describe the picture that's there. We use the keyword one time, but shoving a whole bunch of keywords into that alternative tag or alternative attribute in the image would not be a good white hat technique. So, Robin, I'm going to give that back to you, and we'll talk about the next item here, please.
Sure. And along with those type of tricky techniques, if you have really small font or if you have white background and white text font on top of it that you can't see, that would be hidden text. So you definitely don't want to do that. If there's a space on your website, a lot of people that are not familiar with SEO, if there's a space for keywords, it'll say keywords with an S, so people will try to put as many keywords as they can in there. You just want to stick with one per page so that Google's not confused what is that page all about. And then it will rank better when people type it into search engines.
How many keywords is that, Tim? How many per page? Tim's got an audio issue. I put him on the spot, but that's okay. The answer is, Robin?
It's just one, but that doesn't mean that it has to be one word. It can be a keyword phrase. So ice cream cone is one keyword phrase.
Very good. All right. The next item here, Robin, is duplicate content. That's a great one.
Yeah, doorway pages and redirecting pages. So
okay.
This is getting really tricky when you put up, let's say it's kind of like when you're fishing, I guess, on YouTube and you put up one title slide of a video and then when you click on it, it's a completely different video. Same kind of thing with doorway pages and redirecting pages. So like doorway pages are the ones that they can be auto-generated by programs out there. They could be just pages that don't have a lot of content or they have duplicate content. So just pages that are really bad pages that maybe they have keywords stuffed in them or maybe there's a reason why it ranks really high on the search engine. When you get there, it's just a bad page with not a lot of substance for humans. And with the redirecting pages, you'll click on one thing, but it'll go to something else. So it's just a really tricky version. And along with these two kinds of pages, the doorway pages especially, you can get duplicate content on those pages or someone can copy your website. You definitely want original content on your page. And this isn't a mistake. I definitely made this duplicate content is the title.
I saw that and I really liked it too. And duplicate content, a lot of people don't understand some of the stuff that they do to produce duplicate content. A couple things I want to give to folks as a resource is one of them is siteliner.com. It's a great place that you can go punch in your website, and it will tell you if there's any duplicate content on your website, and if so, where does it exist? Is it another copy on your own website, or is it another website somewhere else on the internet that has the duplicate content? One thing that a lot of people make the mistake of doing is they'll get great reviews on, let's say, Yelp or Facebook or Google, and they'll copy those reviews and paste them onto their website. That's duplicate content. Basically, when duplicate content exists out on the internet, if Google doesn't know what the original author of the content is, the sites that have them go down together. And we see this a lot of the time with franchise-type organizations as well, that all the websites are controlled by the main franchise, and they all say, oh, well, my corporation, my franchise gives me these blog posts that I can just post on my page. Well, if everybody in the organization is doing that same thing, they all have duplicate content together, and they all suffer together. So really, when you're talking about content, it's so important to make sure that you don't have the duplicate content, but also really focus on producing high-quality, unique content that you produce originally. So tell us about code switching, Robin.
Yes, this is a tricky, more advanced black hat SEO technique. Code switching is when you put some certain code in the back end of your website so you rank really high for that page, but then once you get all the traffic, it switches the code in the back end to a human-friendly page. So basically you're trying to get up really high, rank well, and then the downside of it is that when the search engines crawl the page again, it's going to go down once it sees the code is not there. But in the meantime, for maybe a couple weeks, maybe even a couple months before Google recrawls your page, you're going to be high up there in the search results.
And Robin, I want to comment on that in regard to phone numbers that do switching. And the reason why I want to bring that up is we had a client that has a call tracking service with their pay-per-click company, and they have a phone number that they wanted the phone number on the website to switch to a special number so they can track how many people have called. They can actually record the calls. They can record the time and date of the call and when it came in and when they viewed the website, what page they came from, and all this other stuff, which is really, really neat and gives them a lot of data to provide to the client about return on investment. The only problem with that is there's a lot of controversy in the SEO community about using that code switching to produce a different number than what is real for the business. What is the business's real phone number, not what's the swapped out number to do some call tracking. And Mike Blumenthal's, who is a very, I would say, an SEO elite in the local SEO space, has a whole very extensive article about why code switching for your phone number is really bad. And after reading it, I could tell you I would never use it because there are some SEO consequences, even though a lot of these companies will say, oh, there's no consequence with you using this. I wouldn't trust them. Trust the experts in the SEO community that do organic SEO, not necessarily the guys that are doing pay-per-click and they tell you to use that number. Now, there are good places to use those special call tracking numbers, and maybe those are in the pay-per-click ads themselves, but not necessarily on your website or on your Facebook page or things like that, because really, from a local SEO standpoint, having the right phone number matched to your real business number in all the different places is so very important. So, Robin, tell us about avoiding bad neighborhoods.
Yeah, if you think of your website as a house and you surround that house with all of these other websites that are not great, so there's spam sites, adult content sites, even gambling sites, link farms, any sites that rank really low online, so you have a score of 1 to 100. If you're linking to all of these low-ranking sites, that can affect your website. So you're basically guilty by association. So that's why when people say online, we'll build 100 links for you, or we'll build 500 links for you for $10. They're usually not very high quality links, and they'll build the links easily, but they won't help your site. They'll actually hurt your site. So even the other way too. If you have a ton of spam and low-ranking sites linking to your page, that's also bad. So you want to try and combat that with good links and high-quality content so that you get those naturally good links.
Now, Robin, based on that, I wanted to talk a little bit about some of those deals that you see online. So sometimes there's the idea of three-way linking services where I link to company company A links to company B, and B links back to me. So there's no reciprocal linking, because essentially reciprocal linking doesn't provide any SEO value. The only time it's good to do reciprocal linking is if you're going to send traffic each way and there's a lot of it. But when you do that three-way linking, that's one of these link farm techniques. Another one is there's people who specifically build a website only to post articles that backlink to websites. Backlinks to your website is very important, and it is a huge ranking factor. The more of them and having a diverse portfolio of different types of backlinks is very important. And that's how Google actually started, is just the more backlinks you had from certain places, the more votes you had and the higher you would show up for certain terms. Well, it's changed significantly since Google started, but right now you really need to have the right balance of different types of links, just like I like to compare it to investment strategy with your finances. So when you're doing any sort of financial investment, you want to invest in small companies and big companies in your stocks. You want to invest in stock options and bonds and regular savings accounts to diversify your risk. You want to invest in companies or stocks of overseas companies and ones that are local. You want to invest in real estate, gold, and stocks. So you're really just moving things around and having not all your eggs in one basket. And that's what a lot of financial professionals will tell you is a good investment strategy to diversify your portfolio, is what they'll say. The same sort of strategy holds true to your backlink technique. You want to make sure that you have backlinks that are both no follow and follow. You want to have ones that have anchor text coming back, your brand, your website with W's and without, with HTTPS, without HTTPS, and all these other versions coming back to your website, because that shows a very natural link flow. You want to make sure that you have a good amount of .coms, .edus, .govs, .bizes, .orgs. You want to make sure that you have a good amount of average or a good flow of links or diversification of links coming from different types of social media sites. So there's a lot of diversification in your link portfolio that you should really pay attention to. And Robin's going to show us a place where we can actually learn about those things, and that's what she's brought up on her screen here.
Yeah, if you're a business owner and someone asks you, what does your backlink profile look like, that's definitely a basic website vital that you should know. So you can go to, if you don't know, go to ahrefs.com or one of their competitors as well, and you can just type in your website here and they'll let you know. It is a paid version, though.
Right, but very, very good information. Now, speaking of very, very good information, that leads me right into the end of your article here, Robin, which is reporting your competitors and some great resources. So why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, so if you're doing all this hard work on your website, you're doing everything right, you're doing all the white hat SEO techniques, and you see that your competitors are ahead of you and they're using all of these bad black hat SEO techniques that we're telling you not to use, but they're still ranking ahead of you. Well, you can definitely do something about it. First, you can go here to see what the guidelines are. And then you can see this article. It tells you how to get rid of them. You can also put, you can submit to Google here as well, a specific site. You can go to Google Groups and put a thread here, and that'll raise the attention to the actual Google Teams. And then here's a great article as well that you can get rid of your competition that's using the black hat techniques and really put a red flag on their website.